like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres. I'm at the AI Vibes Summit in Santa Monica, California today, and I have Erik Huberman, who just walked in the door. I had to snag him for a quick interview. Erik, I think I got you, man. You just walked in.
I literally just walked in. I walked from my office, too. It's nice. We're down the street.
Man, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And so it's been a solid 7 years since I've seen you.
Which doesn't feel like it. I feel like social media just puts this mask on. Oh, I'm still in touch. We talk all the time. And it's like, yeah, it's probably been
Email,
that.
social media,
exactly.
comments. I've been following your journey. I've been following the rise of Hawke Media. I remember the first time I met you, and we're sitting in a conference room. Christopher Kai's there with me. We're all hanging out, and you're talking to me about your plans for the future and building the company and where you're at. And man, 7 years later, I just saw you open a new space.
Yeah. And again, it's walking distance from here, which is fun. But yeah, we actually took Headspace's old office. We got lucky with that. But that's small stuff. It's just more we found. We went remote when COVID hit, stayed remote for 3 years. And a year ago, we need to put some training wheels back on this and get some people back in. So we got this little office, worked for a year. And I was like, no, this was what I thought it was. We need to now have a good office. And got lucky. A friend of mine reached out that's a real estate agent here that I've always stayed in touch with, had this great space. And so, we walked it in. We got a new Hawk nest.
Yeah. What do you attribute some of the success of Hawke Media to?
A lot of things. I mean, the early success came from our space is super crowded.
Of course.
There were 24,000 digital agencies in the U.S. when I started. Now there's 90,000. So it was already crowded. Now it's absurd.
Yeah. And you required 10,000 of them, I believe, right?
Yeah, somewhere give or take. And when I started, it was really just, I found, lack of a better word, 99% of these agencies are full of shit. And all you have to do is do what you say you're going to do and, deliver what you say and actually know what you're doing. And you're already in the 1% of agencies. So I've seen it like a lot of things. Doing the right thing, putting in the work, being good at what you do, you're in the 1%.
Yeah.
It is. And I hate to be so flippant about that, but the more I read studies and polls, and it's not because of people having a lack of ability, it's actually a lack of intent in my experience. So I saw a poll 2 weeks ago that actually took me back a little bit. It was basically, it asked a question, would you rather work 25 hours a week and make $125,000 a year, or work 70 hours a week and make $300,000 a year? To be clear, the hourly wage is, I think, about 10% lower. Actually, no, it's about 20% lower for the higher, but the actual outcome is 2.5x almost. So it's like, would you rather make 125, work 25, or work 70 and make 300? It was an easy answer for me. I work 70, make 300. As I've said over and over again, I want to work like most people won't, so I can live like most people can't. Motto of mine, something I heard a long time ago that really resonated. And what I found was, so that poll, I assumed that the majority of people would rather work less and make less.
Yeah.
But what do you think the percentage of people that, I don't know if you saw me post this, but what percentage of people lean towards 25 hours a week?
I'm going for the majority.
Yeah, but what percentage? What do you think? Was it 60%?
60, I'll go 60, yeah.
98.2.
Wow.
So that right there is so when I look at that, I go, okay, so literally only 1.8% of the people that answered the poll, but it was thousands and thousands of people, actually want to put in the work to make the money. Yeah. Because of diminishing returns or whatever it is. It was a very simple answer for me, and still is after watching all the people that commented about why they would work less. I'm like, no, it's still my answer is still my answer. Yeah. And so again, you ask about the success of Hawke. Some of it is just we wanted to put in the work to get the outcome. And then I think ambition has to do with it too, and goal setting, where it's I want to build a big enterprise. I want to grow. I want to keep learning. I want to, once I hit some certain threshold, I want to know how to get to the next one. And so that just intent, I was advised by a really brilliant investor when we were starting our venture fund, invest in the ambition of the founder. And I think with us, the ambition has always been grow, build, go big, be the best at what we do, and easy to work with has been kind of our marching orders.
And you were one of the things that always stuck out to me, especially with the original model. So dating this a little bit, if for current Hawke Media clients, I don't know if this is available or not, but in the early days, there wasn't a contract. You were leading with value, leading with, hey, we do the work, we do it right, you're not going to leave. And I remember when you first explained that to me, and I'm like, man, first off, I've never heard of that. First off, at that point in time, if it exists, I never heard of it. And then as I watch you systematically build through the years and add and grow and things like that, you led even in the model.
Yep. And we still do that, to be clear.
Okay, now, I didn't want to date you.
You're totally fine. We still do that. We discount for commitments, basically, because we're and it's not anything. it's very obvious why. If we get a longer commitment, we can bank
For
on that.
sure.
It
That's
makes
a
it easier,
given.
so we'll discount it. We just made it simple. Yeah, a lot of our clients are still month to month, and for the same reason. It's like, yeah, we need to, it forces us to do the right things. The good news is the main reason we lose clients isn't because of anything we screw up. Communication is the only thing I'd say we screw up on that we can control. So we're still constantly training our people to communicate well, and it's not my communication, it's teaching the team to communicate right and be responsive and all that. And other than that, like, we deal with a lot of startups and things that have changes, and so that makes it a little more volatile of a business, but it also is so accessible that we are able to balance that, and that's been part of the vision. And it's funny because now at our scale, every private equity suitor that wants to talk about buying us, and every advisor is like, oh, you got to go up market, you got to work with enterprise, and it's like, we have a profitable, fast-growing business. It's gone really well.
And
like,
you took that stance, by the way, from when I met you 7 years ago. I remember you saying it. I remember some numbers way back then where you're like, why would I do it? Next year we're going to be bigger. Next year we're going to have more.
Right.
You stuck to your guns. You've done some acquiring and some other things like that. I said it as a joke earlier, but I do think it's interesting. I have been meaning to ask you. So talk to me about how you are picking and finding founders or otherwise that you want to partner and bring on board.
Yeah, it's been a really fun part of the business. So running an agency is a fucking nightmare. Like, it's just, it is hard.
Except for at Mission Matters, don't worry, we just do podcast interviews. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's hard to run an agency. And what's even harder, like, I have an incredible executive team now. I've got a team of people that have been with me. Like, my business partner, who's our COO and president, has been with me. We've been together. I mean, we started together, so it's been 10 and a half years.
Wow.
And we ran companies before that together. My head of marketing has been with me 8 years. My head of sales has been with me 6 years. 7 years. My head of service has been with me 4 years. Like, these are guys, I know, like, we have a team I can rely on. That we have a backhand, and like, just like, we really are in sync. When you're a $1.5 to $4 million agency, you have none of that. So as the founder, you are the head of HR, accounting, legal, sales, marketing, client success, everything. You're the janitor too. And that's fine for a little while you work through it. But when it's been 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and you're kind of growing, maybe you're growing at 10, 20% a year, it starts to get to like, what the hell am I doing? And the problem is you can't focus on growth because you're bogged down by this. I was fortunate enough to have my business partner that, frankly, I would just punt the shit to him, and I'd be like, you deal with this. I got to go grow us. Like, I don't have time for, and I still, to this day, I go through phases where I try to jump into some of that stuff, and then I realize, like, this is not good for my energy, because it actually, like, I don't do well. Like, I'm really bad at TDM and being in the weeds, and the challenges of interpersonal problems and stuff like that. Like, you know, I don't want to hear about any of it, honestly. Like, unless I really have to, because I have to change some things we're doing, like, don't even bother me with it. And I didn't even ask for that. My business partner knew me well enough that he's like, I'll find out about stuff. And he'd be like, yeah, that's been going on for 2 months. Don't worry about it. Like, go do your thing. It's like, I'm way better off spending my time growing the business and not worried about that. But I have that benefit. Most people don't. So when we go to these agency owners and we find, hey, we can take this all off your plate, and you can then go focus on growing your business and the things you did in the beginning that you want to do again, and not getting bogged down with the operational side. It's music to their ears. And so it's, for us, it's finding like solid teams, profitable businesses, good client base, and a founder that wants to grow and drive. And then taking that off their plate. We jokingly called it like the reverse franchise model, where it's like, instead of take our operations in a box and then build your business, it's, you've built your business, now take our operations in the box. And that's really how we built it out. And it's worked. We've done 18 acquisitions, not 10,000 sadly, but we've done 18.
You're
and
on your way. I'm not.
Yeah, they've gone really, really well. And it's now very much a part of our strategy, because some of the best people at the company have come through that. And we have incredible people working at Hawke that came through them being entrepreneurs or their teams. You know, the person running all of our creative branding PR side of the business was through an acquisition, and she's not the founder. She was working on that business, and we went, wow, you're really talented. And she expanded to one of our senior executives. Like, these are things. And what's cool is then the acquired companies, their people go see that opportunity and go, instead of working a 10-person agency where until this grows, I've hit my limit. And by the way, it's only growing at 10% a year. Now I'm at this, you know, big organization where I can maybe, if I'm the right person, step into something bigger, different, better, or transition to something that's more exciting to me, whatever. So it really is a win-win-win, because then the clients as well, like, thankfully in 10 and a half years, we've built some really good processes. We're at this AI conference today where we started investing in our own AI system 9 years ago. And so now it's become this really powerful tool and system that when we plug in these agencies, we also give them all our tech stack and all our processes, and all of a sudden their clients, we're able to take it up a notch.
Yeah, and I see this. When I was thinking about it and I'm looking again from the outside looking, I'm like, oh, this is like a Warren Buffett model over here. You're bringing in some of these really like high-level founders that have done some things. They have businesses that are going, great teams, and now you're really enabling them to take their business to the next level as well within the business.
That's exactly what we're focused on.
I think it's interesting. Content creation.
Yeah.
Like I saw you have a podcast. I know you for making a lot of different amazing content with, and also collaborating with people like Cedric the Entertainer. I mean, you have all these different things going on. How does AI, since we're at AI conference, how is AI fueling some of your decisions or ideas around content creation? If it is.
Yeah, no, it's funny because we did a little bit of a prep work for my talk is in an hour here, or 45 minutes. And part of what we talked about and I will be talking about is I actually think AI is way more interesting for logic-driven side of things now because AI is an AI. Like it's not artificial intelligence; it's machine learning in a more complex way now that feels like artificial intelligence. Mid-Journey, ChatGPT, all these blogging things, like they're great thought joggers, but I think the best metaphor for AI is it's an army of 17-year-old interns. And so, do I want an army of 17-year-old interns creating my podcast? No.
Yeah.
Can I use them for some ideas, some question prompts, some thought joggers? Sure, like that stuff. I think AI is way more powerful on the analytics side, like whether you're talking about data and analytics, you're talking about accounting, you're talking about legal, anything that's logic-driven. That's where AI, I think, has the highest and best use currently. I think on the creative side, it's Mid-Journey. Again, I like to use that example because if you have a Mid-Journey piece of creative, it looks like a Mid-Journey piece of creative.
Yes, it does.
And so it's like, it's novel, it's cool, it's fun, it's why
fast.
It's fast. It's why it gets attention. But like, I watched it on memes for like 3 weeks. All the meme channels were putting like, we had AI create this, and it was like, oh, that's fun. After like 3 weeks, no one gave a shit anymore. And it's like, all right, yeah. So I don't think it's going to do whatever, and this happens with every big innovation in the world. People go to the extreme and go, it's going to replace everything. And then it doesn't. It just becomes a new integrated part of society. The best stat, I heard this stat 2 weeks ago, or 2 days ago, and I love it. So cloud computing in 2012, 2013, was really coming online, and it was going to displace all on-premise computing, and like it was obviously like cloud's better, and there were arguments pushing back saying it wasn't as secure, etc. But like it was pretty obvious that like it was more efficient, better, and you weren't going to have these giant server stacks in offices anymore. And that started I think in 2010, but like 2012, 13, it really started to gain traction. And so a lot of these bigger networking companies couldn't get funding anymore; they shut down, etc. Because it was like that industry's over. Going back to stats and not trying to catch you off guard because it's a loaded question, but what percentage of computing do you think is done in the cloud versus on-premise these days?
I'd say 40%.
Actually, pretty close. 30% is in the cloud.
Okay.
In a world where we're like all we talk about is the cloud, it's still over a decade later, it's still only 30%.
Yeah.
So when you talk about AI, I think AI is similar to the internet, and I hate that I say that after hearing too many cliches say that about crypto, which was always BS to me. I do think crypto has some place, but it's not going to be like the internet. Every company is not going to have a crypto strategy in the next 5 years. But I do think almost every company, or 30% of companies in the next 5 to 10 years, will be augmented by AI in some major way. And similar to the internet, like I'm not talking about creating an internet company. I'm talking about every company has a website. So like it's weird to say internet company these days, but 22 years ago, 3 years ago, in the tech bubble, it was all about internet companies.
.com, and you were going up, man. You were going up. You had a .com on your web.
Exactly. And now and then you realize, wait, no, there's just another tool to build the things we've always needed, and that's fine. And I think AI is going to be the same in that way.
Yeah. I'm excited about it. No, I don't know where it fits and how it's going to fit and everything yet, but we're working on an Atom AI or at some point there's going to be we're going to feed all these interviews into it. We're going to have something trained. And my personal goal is I'm going to be an old man one day watching TV and I'm going to be like, did I do that interview or was that Atom AI? Like,
right, exactly, 100%.
And I'm not going to be able to tell the difference.
No, I mean, I've already seen in their jokes, thank God, there's been a bunch of, what do you call it? Even Elon Musk shared one.
Oh, the fakes?
The fakes, but fakes that we know are fake. But let's be real, they could do it slightly better, and you wouldn't know it was fake.
And I'm entertained by it personally.
I think it's hilarious.
I like some of the fakes more than.
But I'm also very conscious that could be nefarious very quickly. Like by the way, taking current event. Was it last night? I've seen the viral video of Trump saying that is Kamala black or Indian? And obviously both. Yeah. Did he say that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, by the way, now he's not tweeted, but what is his thing called? Truth or whatever.
Yeah.
He's messaged about it. So he obviously did, unless someone's hacked his entire life. But like, there's going to be things, I think, this year in this election, in the next few months, that it's like, I never said that.
Yeah.
That's fake. I believe it wholeheartedly. We're in that era now, and that's going to be interesting to navigate.
Erik, I want to say thank you for coming on the show. Final question or final directive. I want you to look into the camera, tell people how they can follow Hawke Media, what you got going on, please.
Yeah, easy. HawkeMedia.com, HAWKE media.com, and then I'm on every social channel @Erik Huberman, and Erik's with a K.
Awesome. And for everybody, just so you know, we'll put the links in the show notes. So you can just click on the link, head right on over, check out Hawke Media. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe button or that follow button. This is a daily show. Each and every day, we're bringing you new content, new interviews, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way in your journey as well. So again, hit that subscribe or follow, because tomorrow you're going to get a notification, another episode. Come on. And Erik, thank you so much, man. So great to catch up with you finally.
Yeah, great to see you.
All right.